A young woman was accosted on camera while doing her job by a group of young men. And the reason why I want to show you this is because it's a clear example of the culture that Donald Trump has created, that men, young men, especially white men, feel like there are no longer consequences for bad actions. In fact, they feel emboldened in the current environment that Donald Trump has created. And it's no surprise because Donald Trump is allowing the worst among us to walk free from crimes that they admitted to committing. And when you create a culture like that, we shouldn't be surprised when young men get the message. 22-year-olds watch what Donald Trump has done for the past 10 years. They only know politics that consist of Donald Trump. And they say, I guess the rules are a little bit different for us. And they'd be right, because George Santos was commuted from his sentence of 87 months. And the mainstream media is just treating it like it's another day, like it's just another story. Look at how Dana Bash handled this interview as if it were some sort of puff piece.
Not normal for a president to commute the sentence of somebody like
I'm sorry to stop it right away, but look at how she's smiling. Like this is some sort of exciting exclusive that she gets to talk to a man who Donald Trump used to show that the laws are different for people who support him and vote for him. She thinks it's just a funny, interesting story.
You, who pled guilty to the crimes that you did. So were you surprised that this happened? Did you expect the commutation?
I had no expectations. I wasn't even aware until I learned it off of the chyron of mainstream media inside of the prison myself. I had just been released from segregated isolation after 41 days for absolute no valid reason other than retaliatory warden.
So sorry, I just wanted...
I learned it from the TV.
Yeah, so I mean, that's incredible. You were standing in prison, you looked up at television, and that's where you saw that your sentence was commuted?
More like I didn't see it. Other inmates saw it and called me over to see it.
No, that's not what is incredible, Dana Bash. What's incredible is that Donald Trump, knowing all that we know about this man, knowing that he committed these crimes, knowing that he actually owes restitution to Americans that he hurt, many of whom are veterans. What's incredible is that he's not even going to have to pay that stuff back because Donald Trump said the rules are different for him. And by the way, this man has lied so much, I don't even know why you're interviewing him. Why are you interviewing him? You might as well just interview someone who could tell you a fairy tale, because it would be just as honest and probably more truthful than whatever George Santos is telling us here. He is not a reliable narrator. A fairy tale more likely is. Now, Adam Kinzinger said very similar stuff to that. I'm just going to play a little bit of sound of this because I want to go into what this all means, and the culture it's creating.
Look, I'm going to tell you what, if people now say it's no big deal that Donald Trump pardoned or commuted the sentence of George Santos, then I got nothing for you. Then you love corruption. This is corrupt to the core. This is Donald Trump clearly only caring about people that kiss his ass. And this is Donald Trump making it clear that if you kiss his ass, you can get away with anything. Now, maybe you feel like, well, it doesn't matter. How does it really affect me? How does George Santos being out of jail affect me? It always starts this way. It starts with leaders becoming corrupt, and then eventually they start taking your money. Right now, it's just Qatar, right? Qatar's giving Trump billions and his family billions. But soon they start concentrating wealth in a few individuals. Those individuals get power. Power in and of itself is corruption. They take the money from the till. And there has never been a country in history that has had deep corruption like Donald Trump is on track to have, that has ever survived or ever come out stronger. If you
Yeah, so that's a really good point too, that this is a green light to everyone who's doing something illegal. Think of Stephen Miller, think of Kristi Noem. Sorry, I refuse to remember her name. I don't like that I have to stare at her. I refuse to remember your name. Kristi Noem, think about all the illegal things they're doing. This is Donald Trump saying, don't worry about it. No matter what, I got you, because I get the power of the pardon, which, by the way, is ridiculous. We need to get rid of it. I don't know how we could, because it's in the goddamn Constitution, but it's not helpful. Okay, and as I said, oh, by the way, and just let's put a pin in this. George Santos is on Cameo. Cameo, if you don't know, is a app where you can request that George Santos make a selfie video for you, and he'll do it for $300. Before George Santos got into prison, a lot of people, especially people on the left, were paying him money to make these cameos. And I thought it was ridiculous then. Everyone was like, well, who cares? He's going to prison. He's going to have to pay this all back. It's going to go to the people who do restitution, blah, 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 blah. Well, if I see anyone posting a George Santos cameo, and if you see anyone posting a George Santos cameo, you need to shame them. I believe in shame when it's used effectively. We need to shame people who think it's funny to hand money over to someone who stole money from other people. Point blank. Okay, all right, now let's move on to what this is all created. And what this has created is a culture where young men feel emboldened to act like this. Now, I'm gonna warn you, this is actually really hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. And I'm just so sorry to the reporter she had to go through with this.
But football is, you can definitely tell there is a new play caller in town. The offense is looking, the offense is looking a lot more versatile. They're getting their tight end in there with more reps. Still seem really characteristic with the running game, but definitely seeing a lot more passes from Malik Murphy to Trent Walker. And I think even though the game is tied, the offense has looked entirely different, and we'll see how it goes through the second half of this game.
Stop! 22 years old, by the way. Look at them.
Man, I don't know why that makes you like super, I know why it makes me super upset, but it really, I feel so badly for her because this is the culture we live in now where young men act like this towards a young woman who is just trying to do her job. And I don't know if these young men are going to face any consequences. I hope they do. But the problem is that Donald Trump has created a culture where it's not expected that folks like this are going to get in trouble. Now, her name, I just want to say her name is Olivia Cleary, and I will link to her Instagram below, and you can maybe just send her some love. She needs it. And I do also want to point out that one of the gentlemen who's in this video was discovered. His name is Om Dazari, Omeedazari on Instagram. My guess is that he's not going to have an Instagram by the time this is posted, or if he does, it won't be there much longer. But if it is there by the time this video comes up, I suggest you let him know how that video made you feel. Someone said, ban these losers from OSU campus for life, please. Agreed. College students acting like 6-year-olds and very poorly representing our university's fan base, all while invading this lady's personal space and disrupting her professional work. Weird behavior and extremely disrespectful. Yeah, it's awful. But this is the stuff we have to highlight. Because I do think like the stuff of like, democracy is falling. It is. And Donald Trump is an authoritarian. He is. But I think all of those things are a little too intangible. This is the evidence of the country Donald Trump has created. Now, there have always been assholes, but I really do feel like the assholes have been emboldened in a way that we are not prepared for and haven't seen in a long time, perhaps in generations. So I say, let us make these little men famous, shall we? Let's try. And to Olivia, I'm sorry you went through that, but just know that there's a lot of Americans watching right now, hoping that we can create a country where the stuff like that doesn't happen. And if it does, we make sure that the folks who do stuff like that are rightfully put in their place. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.